One of the incredible things about life is the ability to find similarities from everything from civilization to nature, to mechanical systems to natural systems, and the behavior of people or even computer interactions with that in the natural world. I always see this when I'm in an airplane, commercial airplane, flying around the world, around the country. You look at the rivers, you look at the roads, you look at the railways, and they act like a nervous system, a circulatory system of an animal. With human behavior, it vastly reflects that of primates. If you study apes, monkeys, etc., behavior patterns are largely exactly the same. But what's fascinating actually is if you look at the insect world, and specifically with ants being a colonial animal, well, in a manner of speaking, that reflects something greater that I've seen in social media. Now, I have noted that social media platforms use the basilar, common negative attributes of human psychology to keep people on the platform addicted, fighting, lustful, greedful, angry, because it keeps them on there longer and you can sell advertisements, make a lot of money, and you can glean the information off people. But there's more to it than that. And it relates to the polarization that we can easily see with our political times, right versus left. It's highly polarized. If you look at social media, everyone follows that. And this is something that I just came to the realization of is perfectly reflected in, shall we say, a loophole with ants called the death spiral. As many of you know, ants, when they're going out in search of food, when one finds food and brings it back to the colony, it leaves a trail of pheromones, a scent, a chemical scent, so that other ants can follow that trail back to the food source. And any of you that were kids on a sidewalk, parking lot, or driveway have probably looked and seen ants when there's a whole line of them going to maybe a crumb or potato chip you left. But what happens when the ants are, that's constructive. They're going from the colony to the food source, back and forth, and it works. But what happens when that first ant, or one of the early ants, ends up going off the path and back in a circle? And whether they continue on or they stay on the circle is irrelevant in this circumstance. What happens is, some more ants as they go by are walking will follow that pheromone trail in a circle. And if those ants or any of them happen to stay in the circle and not go back, then the pheromone trail will be especially powerful in that circle. And then it ends up being not just one ant, but 2, 4, 16, exponential. Till damn near the whole colony is traveling in a circle. In the natural world, it's been showcased. This is on video. You can easily look up the death spiral, as it is called, for ants. They can become massive, the size of an entire colony or car, depending on where in the world you are and what kind of ants, especially if it's tropical. But when the ants get locked into that death spiral, because they're following a pheromone trail endlessly, it has taken advantage accidentally of the ants' basilar natural nature. Effectively, their programming, their psychology, their wiring, how ants work. It's like a feedback loop in a way, a glitch. Much in the same way does that represent what is keeping us addicted and fighting on social media platforms, keeping us polarized to where we can only focus on one thing and circle it. Keep following the leader. Oh, well, this big platform just talked about this breaking news so quickly that they can't even form an intelligent opinion or do any due diligence to learn about it. But you got to keep talking about it right now. Then the next thing you know, 2 do it, 4 do it, 16 do it, exponential. And everybody circles around that one thing, idiotically, with no real knowledge, no real wisdom, no real existential reasoning of the matter. Doesn't matter whether it's right or left, Democrat, Republican, Independent. It just doesn't matter today. Pick your stupid social problem instance. And these death spirals that we're seeing, metaphorically speaking, with humankind and on social media, there's nothing positive. Nothing positive is coming from this at all. Someone is finding power. People are finding power. Institutions, parties, governments, war industries, medical industries, the banks, they're finding power. While everyone, like a bunch of ants, march in a circle to their doom. It's no different. Do you see that? I do. And frankly, that's a big portion of why I just took a step back from the golden shovel. I took a step back from my car channel. What the hell are we doing? What the hell are we doing? You know, a couple of years ago, I was ready to go loaded for bear because the world is falling apart socially, politically. We're just casting aside any worthwhile values that we have of our nation or Western civilization. Everything that has stood the test of time as a rock-solid base to allow us to live somewhere incredible and follow our own dreams in an environment that's relatively safe, with no ceilings so that we can. All of those things are being destroyed. All those things are being attacked. So I wanted to fight. I've been sitting down my whole life. Everybody's afraid to say anything because there's a death spiral that's locked into. You don't dare stick your finger in that spiral of ants. They'll be all over you. But if you want good things to continue in the future, you have to stand up and fight. But the problem is, do you just get locked into another spiral of doom? Quite possibly. Sadly, though, by the nature of the way the algorithms work in these platforms, if you're the one ant that says, screw this, I'm going to keep walking, well, ants are effectively, they work within a colony. They're not individuals in that sense. They can't just go survive on their own. It's not how that works. Unfortunately, it kind of works like that with social media as well. So if I go off independently thinking, it's not going to pop the algorithm. Who's going to see it? Everybody's locked in the spiral. The algorithm doesn't want anyone out of the spiral. Because in the spiral, they can control you. You're in one little circle, metaphorically speaking. And they just want your money. They want your brain. They want to live rent-free in your head. That's not good. I don't actually know how we solve these problems right now. But I do see a positive thing happening when I talk to people. I see more and more people unplugging and stepping back from social media. And I think that's very good. I think we've reached an apex point of hysteria, politically, socially, on social media, through social media, by social media. It has to bend. It has to break. Well, I just didn't have anything else to say. I didn't like where I was going. I didn't like where this was going. And I don't like this doom spiral we're all in like the ants. But in seeing that in the natural world, it simply was my aha moment of explaining it. So I wanted to share that with you now. I don't actually know how far I'm going to take this channel. And frankly, I told my wife today that I may have to just take it down, make it private, or delete it. Because if it's not going somewhere, if it's not moving forward, if no one out there cares, if I can't become part of a network or grow anything bigger to help bring us ants out of the circle into somewhere better, then this channel is only a liability to me and my family in future. What good will come of it? Likely none. Someday, one buffoon will see one thing or not like it that I spoke about things. Then I would be the kind of person to rock a boat, to think for myself. And that would likely screw up our future. How shameful is that? If you're the ant that simply walks out of the spiral of doom, or if you continue in it, the ant will just die from exhaustion. All of them will. Kills the colony. How sad that we live in the time now that has the ability to destroy or hinder your future. How idiotic is that? So I don't know what the future will bring for this channel. I don't know what the future will bring for Western society. But I do know that we need to realize that everything of our lives, of our systems, what we see, what we build, what we know, whether it's computer systems, it's concepts, it's behavioral patterns, it's a machine. Most of those things are already seen somewhere else in the natural world. And in this circumstance, us being on the internet and polarized, it's just the metaphorical ant doom spiral. We have to get out. At the very least, there's nothing personally rewarding or fulfilling from having being in that spiral. You're just running in a circle until you expire. Break free with me. Look forward to see you guys next time.